Welcome, everyone. This is Laurie Prickett, Assistant Director at Invest Atlanta. I'm with the Economic Development team. I'm so excited to stand before you today as we embark on an exciting journey. A journey fueled by collaboration, innovation, and a shared commitment to the success of our communities. Today marks an inauguration of our much anticipated Grocery Technical Assistance Program, an initiative that wouldn't have been possible without the unwavering support of Invest Atlanta, the City of Atlanta, and the invaluable partnership with our service provider, the Independent Grocers Alliance. Together, we're laying the groundwork for a brighter, more resilient future for our grocery operators and stakeholders alike. Thank you for joining us for this pivotal occasion, and I look forward to the transformative impact that we all create together. And now I have the privilege of introducing the President and CEO of the Independent Grocers Alliance, John Ross.
Well, Lori, I'm super excited to be here, and it's always great to have the opportunity to talk to independent retailers. And of course, our relationship with Invest Atlanta has just been so much fun. Today, I'm going to be covering an idea that we put together with Invest Atlanta to open up services that have historically been available to much larger chains, to smaller regional and intensely local community stores. And so I think as I go through the presentation, there's a little bit of a long presentation, but as I go through it, I think you're going to see that it's something that could be very, very exciting for the city of Atlanta. So I think I've got a presentation prepared. If you want, I can just launch right into that, and we'll go through, and then I'll come back at the tail end. So for those of you who don't know me, I am the CEO of IGA. I'm a retailer by trade, and I spent my entire career in retail or retail-like things. I came to Atlanta to go to work for Home Depot many years ago. I spent 13 years working for Home Depot, and I'm very proud of the time that I was able to spend with that retailer. But I've been in the grocery industry working for the Independent Grocers Alliance for 6 years. A lot of people, they don't know what IGA is. I often get, is it the International Grocers Association? Like what is it? It's the Independent Grocers Alliance. And we were formed 100 years ago by a group of wholesalers and retailers that got together, and what they were afraid of was the growth of the first national chain. They were afraid that independent retailers would end up being pushed out of the mix because of the growth of this company called A&P. And you may remember A&P from many years ago. They no longer exist. But IGA was designed with the idea, let's get independent grocers, these family-based businesses together. We'll act cooperatively, and we'll form an alliance, the Independent Grocers Alliance, in order to make sure that we don't miss out on opportunities to use our scale appropriately in the marketplace. And you may remember, if you go back 100 years ago, this is what the stores looked like. And actually, my grandfather on both sides of my family had stores that looked just like this. So I never worked in their stores. They were both sold before I was born, but my grandfather on my mother's side and on my father's side both had these small family-run grocery stores. And they served their community in a way that at the time was probably 100 years ago, probably 90% of all groceries were sold through small stores like this. Well, obviously the world has changed a lot in that period of time. The mission, however, has not changed. And the mission 100 years ago and the mission today is just as simple as it can possibly be. It says that we're supposed to help family-based businesses, these small regional chains, compete against the growth of national and now international competition. So we help independent family businesses win, or we're not doing our job and we should go do something different. And that was true then, and it's true today. And of course, now what we do, the value proposition, how we go to market has changed, just like our competitive set has changed. Because 100 years ago, we didn't have Amazon, you didn't have Walmart, you didn't have dollar chains, you didn't have e-commerce. And so certainly the competitive set and the customers themselves have changed, and where they live and how they want to shop and what they expect, and the brands have all changed. So we've had to constantly reinvent that company over the years, but the mission has remained unwavering. Help these family businesses succeed or prosper. And we've been really successful at it. IGA had the best growth in its 100-year history last year, and it was our best growth the year before and the year before that. And today we are the largest Independent Grocers Alliance and the largest global chain of any retailer in the world. And who would have guessed 100 years ago that we'd have stores in Australia and in Fiji and the Caribbean and Canada and Poland and now Ireland, which is our newest market. And then even in China, there's 1,000 stores in China. If you were to roll up all of IGA stores volume together, we'd be over $40 billion in size, which make us this really important brand to a lot of very important manufacturers. And for manufacturers that think about their chains globally, like a Mondelez or a Coca-Cola, right? Well, often in their top 10 customers globally, sometimes even stronger than that. Now, it's interesting too. So all of those chains, let's get back to the U.S. If we think about the United States, while we may operate in all these countries, the U.S. is still our largest market, and IGA US is growing the fastest of any of our markets, and we're very proud of that. But not just IGA, independents. Actually, independents have had a hot hand for years. And I'm not just talking about what happened during COVID, but even before that. If you look at the class of independents in the United States, if you rolled up all the independent grocers, there's about 29,000 in the United States. IGA has 2,000 of that 29,000, but all of us, all independents, these family-based businesses, represent 1/3 of the total U.S. grocery market. Now, it's easy to think that Kroger and Walmart and Target and all the big guys and Dollar General and Family Dollar, right, it's easy to get obsessed with what they do. But the reality is still in the United States. Not only are we 1/3 of the U.S. grocery industry, but if you look at our combined sales, we're growing faster and have been a better business proposition for shoppers in the last 5 years, 10 years, than even the national or the regional chains. Why would that be? Like, why would independents be going in? It's because the shoppers themselves have come around to believe that what independents do well is what they want out of a grocery store. If you take and ask shoppers to say, design the perfect grocery store for you, what would it be like? And if they start brainstorming about the kind of store they want, they don't talk about a 100,000 square foot mega store out in suburbia. What they talk about is a store that's close to their home, that sells fresh produce, high quality meat, has great value in the products, that's part of their community, gives back to their communities, and graded. Everything a well-run independent does is exactly what shoppers want, because they've become increasingly convinced that the word local is a power word. I'll talk about that more as we go along. It's really fascinating. Now, IGA, if we look at IGA stores within the 29,000 stores in the United States, IGA stores outperform the industry, and we outperform regional. So we're very proud of the fact that IGA stores do better. When they come together and they join forces, they get a lot of benefits. I'll talk about those benefits today. But they also get the power of association with other best-in-class retailers. And so if you really want to think about IGA, the Independent Grocers Alliance, when an independent joins that family, now suddenly they got all of these peers all across the country. And someplace, there's the store that's probably serving a very similar market. So if you've got urban stores, if you've got rural, if you've got stores in low income, high income, organic and specialty stores, stores where 40% of the shoppers are on public assistance, and everything in between, chances are there's several hundred IGA stores that match that profile, which means you end up in great company. Our retailers end up having a peer group that's fighting the good fight every single day with very similar market dynamics. And that share group mentality is one of the biggest advantages of being a part of the alliance. Because the big question is, whether you've got one store, whether you've got 10 or you've got 30, who's in your court? Because retail's hard. I mean, it's hard. If your retailers are watching this, you're nodding as I talk about it. It's nights, it's weekends, it's holidays, it's labor challenges. You want to be strategic, and you end up having to go and work the register because somebody didn't show up or somebody's out sick. And it's dealing with suppliers and logistics of retail. I mean, it is constant. And so when things go wrong, or when you know you need to do something better, or when there's fierce competition and you look to the right and left of you and you think, well, who's going to help me to be able to grow my business, no matter how big or small you are? Who's in my court? And that's one of the big advantages of IGA, is we're the entity that stands behind the retailer, because their metrics are mine. We don't exist unless we're helping them to grow and be more prosperous. All of the services that we provide are designed for them, which is why we're so proud of our retailers. Because whether this is one of our retailers in Australia, it's a beautiful retailer, these family-based businesses. Each one of the families, they're so diverse. Their families got into the business, whether they're first or second or third or fourth generation now. They're serving the community in all of their unique ways, and we don't want to get in the way of their uniqueness. Unlike a franchise, which tries to force you to follow their format, IGA instead believes that our family businesses, if they're connected to the community, they know that community better than anyone else. Our job is to help them just to take effort out of the business or be smarter about the way they run that business in a way that helps them to grow forward. And so we're not a franchise, we're an alliance, and that alliance is designed to get the best out of that business, whatever that business tends to be. It's really interesting. Now, this so far, I'm on slide, 7 of probably a bunch. And I'm not going to go through all these slides today, Lori. We'll make sure this deck is available for all of your members. But it's going to come across as kind of a sales pitch. And it sort of is, because I'm super proud of what we do at IGA. But the big idea here with what IGA does and this project with Invest Atlanta is to take the business promise, which says we're supposed to help independent grocers succeed and prosper, and see if we can't scale that with a different kind of target. So, Lori, if you go back to my mission statement, it says we're supposed to help independent retailers succeed relative to increased competition from national and now global retailers, right? We used to set a threshold, and we used to say that if the retailers weren't doing $100,000 a week, excuse me, if they weren't doing $100,000 a week, we probably can't serve them, because we set our target as being these retailers. And so we designed our business to help, the retailers of a certain scale where we could be the most efficient. But we've been thinking over the last few years that target is incomplete. We've been thinking about it wrong, that maybe we had it wrong. Maybe we needed to add additional target to who we serve. So in addition to serving the retailers, do we have an obligation to also serve the community? And if you add the word community to IGA's mission statement, suddenly now we'd have to come in and look at a marketplace like Atlanta and go, where are consumers who are underserved? Where do we have pockets of people that only have a convenience store, or they only have a fast food restaurants to eat to feed their family? Where are there opportunities to help existing retailers who are serving these in smaller format stores, because that's the nature of often urban is a smaller format, right? Where we should be helping them and we're not. And so, Lori, when we started talking with you about what could Invest Atlanta and IGA did together, it's really an issue of scale. Could we take the things that we do for stores doing $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a week, and could we rescale that? Provide the same level of services, the quality support. Can we rescale it for smaller retailers if we could do it in an aggregate? And that's the big idea. That's why we're on this webinar today. It's why we've been meeting with your team over and over. And it's why we're so excited, because we think the answer may be yes. And we would love it if Atlanta were the prototype for how we rescale our services to be able to support much smaller retailers that are still just as important, still fighting the same fight, still have the same needs, but rescale it in a way that we could support them at the pace in which they can accept it. And if we can do that, wow, that really expands our mission, our mandate, and makes it feel like we're doing the right thing on behalf of American communities. So then the question would be, well, what does IG actually do for these retailers? So they can cobble together. Is it all about the brand, or what's more going on here? So if you were to get on an airplane with me and we were to go visit the headquarters of Publix or Kroger or Safeway or Walmart, and we were to say, hey, CEO, take us around and show us all the departments that you've got inside your business. And they would say, sure, let's go meet the people who do visual merchandising and signing. Let's go meet the people who negotiate with suppliers for favorable terms or for promotions. Here's a team over here that does digital advertising. Here's someone doing social. Here's the people doing analytics. Here's the people buying media. Here's the people doing training. And we'd end up meeting all of their direct staff and the teams underneath them that help those big national retailers do what they do. If you were to come and visit IGA, we got people doing all of those things except one. I'll talk about that one in just a second. You'd find that we've got people doing visual merchandising. We've got teams doing analytics. We've got teams doing digital advertising and buying media and all of the same services. except our client is all of these independent retailers. So all the backroom services, if you're operating a single store or 3 or 4 stores, it doesn't matter. Chances are your leadership team is you and maybe your spouse and maybe your nephew or niece, and that's it. And you can often feel very lonely trying to compete against these big multinational companies with very limited resources. Our job is to provide those resources for those retailers so they don't have to do everything on their own. And I'll cover what some of these services look like here in a second. Now, a big point of this is, unlike a franchise, nobody is required to use anything. You can be a part of IGA and just use training, or you could just use digital advertising, or you could just use the share group function. And we don't force anything on anyone. There's no mandates that come out, including the use of the brand. And this is one of the things a lot of people don't understand is, yeah, there are certainly stores out there that use IGA as their primary brand. And in their markets, that works. We've got some that use their family name. This is Geisler's, so one of our retailers up in the Northeast. And they're Geisler's, and they've got small IGA branding because their family's been in the marketplace forever. And we've got retailers like Dave's Market, one of the finest IGAs in the nation. And you go in there, you'd be hard-pressed to even know they're a part of IGA. It's because their brand is so strong. And we let the retailers use the IGA marks and branding however serves them the best. We don't want to change them, because remember, local is the big competitive advantage. If you got a local retailer and their name is strong in that marketplace, please use your name as the lead. However, if you're unknown in the marketplace, or you want to bring in some, the cachet of a larger brand, you've got the opportunity to use those marks, and we provide them to everyone. Because at the end of the day, being a proud member of the Independent Grocers Alliance is all about helping those retailers succeed. So, retailers don't have to use the marks. They can use them any way they want. They can change the colors. They can do whatever fits with their branding. This idea of local being this competitive. So I want to talk about local for a second. So when you talk to consumers and you say, what do you want out of the perfect grocery store? And they start talking, what they really want, they want a farmer's market that's open every day, that's close to their house, that sells at grocery store prices. That would be the perfect store for them. They would love to know that they were buying direct farm to store to table. And they kind of believe that actually is true. They believe that local restaurants and they believe that local retailers are way more likely to have this direct connection into local providers in a way that a Walmart or Kroger could never do. Well, we think that's a really big opportunity for our stores. So wherever possible, we try to plus up this idea of connection to the community, making sure that you get the advantage, because the shoppers already believe it's true, and they believe that it means the food that they serve their family is fresher, better for them, less likely to have been sitting on a truck, less likely to be shipped on for thousands of miles away or frozen. And so to the extent that we can plus that up in the stores, it's great. Now, there's one thing that we don't do. Lori, we do not buy and sell product. Nobody buys and sells product from IGA. We work with licensed wholesalers, big and small, at a country level, to provide access to products and services. Now, retailers don't have to buy from them. They can if they want. If they buy from one of our licensed distributors, because we've got the scale of thousands of retailers, chances are they're going to get much more favorable terms, and they're going to have a lower cost of goods, but they don't have to. And so this mix of choose who you want to buy, but you now, as through IGA, you have an opportunity to buy from one of these companies. UNFI is the largest wholesaler in the United States, probably in the world. We've got regional ones like Bizzuto's, which tends to just handle the Northeast. We've got a wholesaler that only serves Bush, Alaska, and the state of Alaska. And so they deliver groceries by seaplane and by dog sled. I'm not kidding. They really do. It's really crazy. So no matter who the independent is and what scale they've got, our objective is to connect them with a supplier that can get those groceries to delivered to them, and this assortment that matches the people they serve. So if it's a store serving Hispanic shoppers, or just Caribbean Hispanic, or if it's a store of African American, or a halal store, or you've got a store that's more general market serving sort of everybody in between, we try to make sure that they connect to one of these partners and they get favorable terms. And that's a very important part. But we ourselves, we don't make money on the groceries. We don't take an override. There's none of that. Just connect with a partner that's going to help you to win. One of the things we do is we work really strongly with big manufacturers, and I actually do a podcast on my own on sustainability and making sure that we're reducing plastic waste in our stores, reducing food waste. So you're working with local food banks. It's a very important part of what we do. I know a lot of independent retailers are really strong in this. We try to leverage all these global suppliers who have a lot of investment in some of these programs to make sure that we're getting what they're doing deployed in our stores so that independents don't get left out. And it means that an IGA store not only should be a better business, but it also should be a more sustainable business. And that might be contracts on switching from fluorescent lighting into LED lighting, or to improve the energy signature of your HVAC plant, or it might be on, we have an energy audit partner that comes in and gives you 15 or 20 ideas in order to lower your utility bill, which saves energy. And all of these ways we can be more efficient. Independent retailers get the access to those that, it might be difficult for them to get. Now we help our retailers in branding. We've got visual merchandising, we've got systems design, we've got this incredible kit of signage and little stickers and things that go on packaging and all the rest of it, and it would be as good or better than anything that a big regional or a national retailer would have. A lot of this is about the word family. We know family is a power word too, and so family grocers supporting family farmers. We got pictures of farmers. We have our taglines, local equals fresh, and forever possible to make sure that the retailer gets credit for what they really are. Like, their DNA is local. They're invested in their community. They probably don't have a sign up that says when you buy from a local retailer, your money stays in the community as opposed to going to the corporate offices someplace else. They probably don't have a sign saying we hire from the local community. They probably don't have a sign up that explains why cutting meat fresh or buying from local farms saves so much money, because your money's not wasted in transportation and all the rest of it. So all this content we develop, again, the retailers can use it as is. They can customize it. They can use their graphic designers to change it to their colors. They can do whatever they want. The strategy, however, when a retailer embraces this local branding and they put it in, their comp sales tend to go up somewhere between 100 and 200 basis points almost immediately, and it sustains. And then it's all the way down at the little techniques, like if you're cutting fresh fruit inside the store, put the sticker on the package, sales will go up because people didn't know that you were actually cutting fresh, right? All the technology of the signage and visual merchandising system links back to the strategy of that local and family are these big power words, and we help. And we have programs in pet and in baby and in alcoholic beverages that were designed to help them do a better in their assortment wherever it is. And we want to try to scale these programs for much, much smaller stores. So we're excited about that. Another thing we do is we negotiate with suppliers on behalf of the full chain, as you would expect. And we have all of these partners out there. And it could be a Mondelez or a Coca-Cola or a Global, or it couldn't be, it's much smaller. Fresh Vine is a wine producer that just serves a portion of the country and everything in between. We do those negotiations designed to get access to products. Now, how this shows up for the retailer is in savings. So we get deals. Those deals get pushed down. The retailers don't have to use the deals, but they can. And it's really cool because now all of a sudden the same deals that were going to a national retailer, a Target or a Walmart or a Dollar General, suddenly now the independent retailers get too. And if they got Cheez-Its or Hellmann's mayonnaise or Twizzlers in their store, might as well put the sign up so your shoppers get $1 off, and then we reimburse them for every dollar that's for all the sales that they do. So it's a really sweet system. We're excited about the opportunity to bring this down to much more local or community-based stores. And we think it could be an enormous competitive advantage for them competing against, especially the dollar chains. We have a national digital ad, and if you have time later, you can put your phone up and you can scan this and see what that digital ad looks like. The digital ad allows us, I'll just show you what a picture of that looks like. It looks like the thing on the left. Basically, whatever sales items are going on in the store, plus whatever national items we do, they get rolled up into the app. The retailer then can use that app without having to develop their own. And there's all kinds of content that goes along with that. Sweepstakes and family meals programs and end cap signage and all the stuff. Look, they don't have to use it all. Some of them may reject most of it. But if they want to use it, it's all available to them. And 90% of this is absolutely no charge. So they just it's just work done for you. that you don't have to do on your own. Now, if you want to customize it, want to make it unique, you can. We've got retailers that they drive out to the country and they stand in the crop field and they take a bite of corn and they say, this corn right here from Miller's Farms is going to be in my store this weekend. Come down and get it while it's fresh. And, sales go crazy, right, when they do it. Or they'll film themselves in the back of the store going, I'm receiving these blueberries right now. They're in the store. Come down, right? And they're able to use it in Facebook or in their Instagram feed or whatever they do. And they can do as much or as little as they want. The system's designed so they don't have to do anything if they don't want it. But if they do more, it's just going to ramp up the sales results. And it's really fun because it's the fun part of merchandising and marketing, right? It's kind of why a lot of us got into retail in the first place. Which you find often you don't have the time to do. That's a better picture of it. And the reality is it works. So our average comp, this says 18%. I think we're edging up towards 19% lift on what we're doing. And enormous comps. Sometimes it's just because the retailers weren't in stock on it at all. These are not coupons. These are on-shelf offers. We have analytics that are available for the retailers, and they range from everything from mapping of the store so they can see where their sales are coming from and, more important, where their opportunities are. That's really cool. We help them build business plans. This may be one of the biggest advantages that retailers in this Advanced Atlanta program will have is the ability to have a partner that can sit down next to them and go, show me what you're doing now. Let's look at the data, right? Let's go look at a map of where your store is and where the opportunities are. And let's build you a strategy. Let's build a 5 or 10 point strategy to help you to grow your sales. And some of that's assortment. Lori, sometimes that's marketing. Some of that may be just changing the focus inside of your store. Who knows what the results will be? It's always a customized solution, but the ability to have a partner that's helping you to grow your business, we want to be able to work and do this, not for stores doing, $6 or $8 million a year, but see if we can't do it for stores that are doing much less volume, but do it in aggregate that will help them get the same benefits that larger independents get. And then we do survey work. This may not be of interest to a lot of them, but we do surveys. The retailers get feedback from their shoppers about what they like and do not like. Sometimes it's easy to be trapped into thinking you know what your strengths are, and then you find out, wow, there's some really hidden opportunities. We even survey associates on this, and figuring out a way to scale this for smaller retailers we think could end up being really cool. One of the biggest cool part about this is also training, and all the retailers that are going to be part of the program will have access to the IGA Coca-Cola Institute. It is the world's largest online training database. And whether you're training an associate on basic customer service, or you're training them on how to fluff lettuce and how to handle produce, or it's things like what to do in the event of active shooters inside of your store, or in all these hundreds of courses, right? All of this will be available to you. It's all distance learning. We do this for the industry. We do it for much bigger retailers use the training library. It's not unusual to have a 300 or 400 store chain using our library. It's so cool, but it's all down at the individual level. So if it's, if you want to get into the wine business, or it's how to train your people on how to do a better job in produce or in center store or in receiving, it's all there available. It can all run on a mobile phone. And the course is really clever because not only can you see who went through it, did they do the compliance course? Did they do the sexual harassment training? Did they do the how to avoid being a target of a ransomware or whatever? But it's also leadership training and classroom training as well, and it's really cool. And increasingly the content is designed for the youngest and most attention deficit people in the chain. So the content gets shorter. It can, it may be a 3-minute course that just teaches one topic and then they take a test. It's designed to, for people who may not have the largest attention span, but it's really cool. There's social media learning with this. This is a really slick program. And then you get all the analytics that a big chain would get. So you know who went through the training. Did they complete the course? Did your new cashier go through all 3 of the training modules? If so, and then you can give them a badge or something that they can post on social media saying they completed the course. It's really clever. All right. I'll move on here to a private label. IGA has private label products. Many smaller retailers don't have access to private label. As part of this program, we want to figure out how to bring private label into the city of Atlanta and to work across a consortium of retailers and so that they have access to the same kind of values that bigger retailers get. There are about 800 SKUs probably that would be available, and these are great products that match the quality of national brands, but they cost less, so the retailer can make more money on them, and they would hit a lower price point than you would have on national brands, which help independent retailers compete and thrive. It's been difficult to make a program like this work for stores that are only doing $20,000 a week. It's been hard to get a program to work for them. We think if we are able to make this work with Invest Atlanta, we're going to be able to do it. So, and this is a pitch, and you can see me selling throughout this, but the retailers, our objective is to do this so the retailers pay nothing. They get to be a part of something that allows us to bring them in to see if we can't create a virtual chain. So if we can get 8, 10 existing retailers in the Atlanta market, smaller retailers, pull them together, have them act like a virtual chain, then they'd get every one of the services that a much larger chain would get, and they can do it with absolutely no cost to them, and no hidden cost. There's no sneak up cost on this. This is all designed with that mission of making the community the target. And if we do it right, if we can make it work in Atlanta, IGA thinks we can make it work in other cities like Detroit or like Chicago or other cities where we have stores, but we're not serving the smallest retailers like we should. So we're really excited about this. I keep going here. Our business model. We operate as a not-for-profit business. We don't make money off of our goal for all the services we do. Our goal is to make money off of the manufacturers, helping them to be smarter, selling more product into these underserved communities. And we're very proud of this. There's full transparency. Many of the retailers who sign up for this will probably end up on our retailer advisory board, which in the future will make them one of my bosses. This is one of our proud members in Kentucky. We have we have retailers that are now their sons and their daughters or their grandsons and their granddaughters are now running their stores. It is truly a family connection in a way that just doesn't exist in America anymore. And we couldn't be more proud to serve them and to have them part of it. And once they're part of IGA, we rarely lose a retailer because they don't like what we do. We typically lose them because they sell their store. They sell their store to a bigger chain. It's the only time we really lose retailers. So we're very proud of it. But remember at the beginning, I was talking about how like as a family business, you're working in your store, you're doing the best that you can, every day, there's a list of things that you wished you could have got to, but you didn't. And then you look to the left and the right of you and go, who's in my court? Who's helping me to win every day? IGA, we want to be that. But it's even more acute when something goes wrong, when there's a disaster. And the disaster could be a fire, it could be a flood, it could be a hurricane, it could be, the health emergency that took place. Who knows what it could be? And increasingly, unfortunately, our world feels like there's more and more of those happening all the time, right? IGA is there. And this is a great example. So this very sweet lady, she's been an IGA retailer for a number of years. That's her store. She's got a single location serving one of the poorest communities in the United States. Her shoppers love her. That's her son next to her, who's going to be taking over the store as she winds down. But they were hit by a flood. It's horrific. The store was completely destroyed. IGA swooped in the moment. We helped them raise money. We helped them set up fundraisers. We helped them get vendors to participate. The wholesaler came down and redid their store. And within a year, they had grand opening in a brand new store in the exact same location. You would want this store next to you. Everything you would want out of a community grocery store. And we were able to do that and be so proud of helping them to continue to serve their community in a way. Had they disappeared, their people would have had to drive 50 miles to find a store selling fresh meat and fresh produce. This is what IGA does. We're a part of these communities in a way that make us very proud to come to work every day. And now the challenge is here. So in cooperation with Wells Fargo and with Invest Atlanta and the mayor of Atlanta, who has a vision for making the city a leader in helping to serve the underserved. Because let's be honest, it's not just that some of these communities don't have access to a grocery store that's serving them fresh and healthy food, but they also often pay way more for products. The poorest people in America often pay the most for everything. And so IGA is excited to be in partnership here. So the big idea is have IGA come on and provide these services in an alliance for a group of retailers in Atlanta, with Lori and Invest Atlanta being our partner to help serve up these retailers. We'll cobble them together as a kind of a virtual chain. We'll give them everything that a regular retailer will get. We'll do an experiment here, so they're going to get category management advice. We'll attach them to an IG associate who will help be their coach. We'll do assessments of the store, and we use analytics to help them identify a business plan to continue to grow. Give them access to our private label if we can make that work. We'll give them access to national deals on our digital and all of this. And at the end of the day, we'll also try to negotiate a supply chain contract on behalf of these stores so that they can switch from vendors that may be providing, not the best cost of goods to ones where they're getting the same cost of goods that would be available to any, to a 100-store retailer. And if we do it right, if we do this right, they won't have to pay a bunch of money. They'll get access to all these things. They will become better businesses and be serving their community better. And then suddenly we've got a model that we can prove out works for a constellation of small retailers that IGA could then take to any city in the U.S. So that's it in a nutshell. It's super simple. So what does it cost you? Nothing up front. Are there going to be extra fees? I can't think of any. If something comes along, if you want to customize something, maybe, but chances are you won't have to spend a dime. And how do you qualify is you need to tell us about your store. So, Lori, we put a QR code on this slide. If the retailer scans this QR code, it's going to ask them a series of really basic questions. How big is your store today? Where are you? What are you selling? Do you sell meat or not? Do you sell produce or not in your store? What's your weekly volume? Do you have a loading dock? I mean, these are really basic questions. They'll be able to fill this thing out in about 5 minutes. And that allow us to know, do we have enough volume collectively in the community in order to make this work? We get 7, 8, 9 of these retailers to join this. We think it's enough volume. Then we'll negotiate on behalf of all of them. We'll do an RFP. We'll bring a supplier in that's excited to serve them and see if we can't make a major difference in the lives of these entrepreneurs. And there's no obligation. You can quit at any time. No one's going to be chasing you for anything. And it should be the biggest no-brainer in programs that have ever been put forward. And through the partnership with Invest Atlanta and all of their partners, we're able to do this experiment in a way that we're actually pretty excited about. We think it's going to work, but we need people to sign up. So if I did my job right, you're excited and your phone's already on the screen and you're taking a picture of that QR code, we'd like you to fill out the form and send it back for the 4th. Now, if someone's watching and you want to be a retailer, but you're not one today, if you're a restaurateur, or you've got another business, or you've been thinking about opening a grocery store, you could potentially be in too. All you got to do is let the Invest Atlanta people know, and we'll reach out to you and we'll talk to you individually about that too. So this is for retailers that exist today. And in the future, it's for people who want to be retailers but know how to get started. And we'll try to figure out how we can deal with those as well. And that's kind of it.
That's amazing, John. Look, everyone that's here, I want you to really take some key messages from John here. There was a lot of amazing themes here that really resonate with the city of Atlanta and our communities. Messages like commitment to doing more for ourselves and our community. We talk about local. We talk about supporting other businesses. We talk about things like the power of partnerships, because partnerships are the cornerstone of our progress here. And so for us, we're excited about this opportunity. By uniting our resources, our expertise, our passion, I mean, we're cultivating sustainable solutions. We're nourishing communities, and we're fostering equitable access to nutritious food for all. And we're doing this. This is unlike anything that's ever been done before. So we really want to show how this can resonate in the city, and this is the blueprint for future success. So, number one, John, thank you so much for your support and your partnership and the team at IGA. I feel like family. You're definitely, I feel like an IGA family member myself, and I will always fly my flag for you as well. But I'm very impressed more than anything about how intentional IGA are. And that's something that is authentic to the fabric of the city of Atlanta. So we're excited about this opportunity. Like John said, the QR code is there for all our businesses that are interested. Please know Invest Atlanta is there to support you. Again, no cost. No cost technical assistance. This is our support of City of Atlanta registered business owners. And please remember that the economic development team is here to support you as well through business consultation, site selection, and just know that we are a phone call away if you need us. So please visit the Invest Atlanta website. But John, thank you so much for taking the time. We're excited about this program. And John, I swear you're going to help us move Atlanta forward. So we're excited.
Well, it is my hometown, so I would love to see that happen. And we couldn't be more excited. And the retailers that I meet here and the local entrepreneurs, I mean, they're great. These family businesses, we'd love to have everyone I've met so far. We just love to be able to welcome to the IGA family. And I was at one of your events yesterday, and I told one of the ladies, you're just starting out, but a few years from now, you're going to be on our retail advisory board, and you're going to be speaking on behalf of the city of Atlanta to retailers all over the world, showing off the cool stuff we've done here. This is so cool. So fill out the form. Fill out the form and send it back.
Get your phones out. QR code. Thank you, everyone. Right.